Hi, konnichiwa, ni hao, annyeong. Welcome to Toy Princess. Today we're looking at the Disney Princess Enchanting Story Pack with 8 storybooks. On the front we have Rapunzel, Cinderella and Belle. And on the back we have Merida. She says, it's time to dazzle and shine with the princesses in this magical storybook collection. Inside there are 8 stories filled with love and friendship. There's Tiana and Aurora, Ariel and Snow White. Here's our 8 books. Let's open it. Here are our 8 books. We have Cinderella's Little Guest, Aurora's Dream Wedding, Tiana's Surprise Guest, Merida's Mysterious Horse, Rapunzel's Wedding Day, Snow White's Big Day, Ariel's Perfect Day, and Belle's Birthday Surprise. I'm going to do this video in 4 parts, so 2 books each time. Today we're going to do Cinderella's Little Guest and Tiana's Surprise Guest. 2 guest books. Let's get started with Cinderella's Little Guest. Who wants crumpets and strawberries? Cinderella asked. She was having breakfast with her mouse friends. Me, me, Gus cried. Thank you, Cinderella, Jack said. Just then a royal page stepped into the room. Madame Laurent has arrived. Madame Laurent was the prince's cousin who was visiting from far away. Oh, Madame Laurent said, allow me to introduce my beloved friend, Babette. She picked up the house and Babette walked into her hand. Jack and Gus couldn't believe it. Babette was a mouse. Jack and Gus waved, but Babette just stared at them. Would you like a crumpet, Babette? Cinderella asked. The mouse took a piece and ran back into her house. She should have said thank you, Jack whispered to Gus. Rude, Gus agreed. Let's have a tour of the castle, Madame Laurent said. Jack and Gus, perhaps you can give Babette a tour too, Cinderella suggested. This is the library, Jack said. Lots of books, Gus said, pointing. Babette looked around, but didn't say a word. The royal throne room, Jack said, spreading his arms wide. Babette nodded. Bell tower, Gus announced. Bong! Babette gently tapped the bell. This is the ballroom, Jack said. Do you have one at home? Yes, Babette said. Gus and Jack looked at each other. Babette was no fun. Babette, what a snob, Jack told Cinderella later. Stuck up, Gus agreed. Now, Cinderella said gently. You hardly know her. Give her a chance. Just then, Cinderella glanced down at her bare wrist. My bracelet, she gasped. It must have fallen off during Madame Laurent's tour. We'll help you find it, Cinderella, Jack cried. Jack! Gus! Babette cried. They hurried over to her. Babette had found Cinderella's bracelet. Tell Cinderella, Gus said. Oh, I couldn't, Babette said, blushing. Suddenly, Jack understood. Babette wasn't a snob, she was just shy. Be brave, Gus said. He and Jack took her to find Cinderella. Cinderella was delighted to have her bracelet back. Thank you, Babette, she said. You must have very sharp eyes. Babette blushed again. You'll save the day, Jack said. Gus had a wonderful idea. He grabbed Babette's paw. Hide and seek, he squeaked. The three friends ran off to play. When Madame Laurent's visit was over, Jack and Gus were very sorry to say goodbye to Babette. Come back soon, Gus said. Babette waved. I'll miss you, she replied. When the carriage was out of sight, Jack turned to Cinderella. Babette, he said, she's so much fun. The best, Gus chimed in. Cinderella smiled. I agree, she said. So that was Cinderella's little guest. Now let's do Tiana's surprise guest. It was a balmy evening and Big Daddy was in the mood for some good food with friends. Charlotte, honey, he called to his daughter. How about going to Tiana's palace for supper? Oh, Daddy, that would be wonderful. Just let me run and change. Later, as the LeBeoufs drove off, nobody noticed Stella the hound asleep in the back of the car. When they reached the restaurant, the smell of Tiana's minuets woke Stella. The hungry hound followed her nose right into the kitchen. Big Daddy, Charlotte! Princess Tiana warmly welcomed her friends. Would you like to sit down with Mama and Naveen's parents? Why, I can't think of anyone better to share my supper with, Big Daddy replied. Meanwhile, Stella smelled nothing but goodness in the kitchen. Looky here, shouted one of the cooks. We have a visitor. Here you go, puppy. Have some gumbo. Stella spent a happy evening in the kitchen, while Charlotte and Big Daddy had a delicious meal of their own. After the last jazz number, Prince Navee's parents drove Tiana's mother home. Everyone said their goodbyes, and still nobody knew about Stella. Then Luis entered the kitchen for his evening meal with the rest of the band. Woof! Stella was terrified of alligators. Now hold on, Luis told Stella. I'm not here to eat you, I just want a little gumbo. The kitchen staff backed away. All they heard were growls coming from the dog and the alligator. Princess Tiana and Prince Naveen also heard the commotion as they came back in from bidding their friends and family good night. As soon as the prince and princess entered the kitchen, they saw a frightened Stella barking at Louise. "What's going on here, you two?" Princess Tiana asked. "Oh, Stella," Princess Tiana said gently, petting the dog. "It's just Louise. He wouldn't hurt anybody." "That's true," Naveen cried. "Louise is nothing but a big guy with an even bigger heart." "Go ahead, Stella," Princess Tiana encouraged the dog. Cautiously, Stella sniffed Louise. Then she turned back towards the food. Tiana and Naveen giggled. Louise wanted to giggle too, but he was afraid he'd scare Stella all over again. Soon, the staff of Tiana's palace put together a supper from the evening's leftovers. Prince Naveen played the ukulele, and Tiana made some more of her special baguettes. It was an evening to remember. Before dawn, the prince and princess dropped Stella off at the LaBouffes. No one even noticed she was missing. "Good night, Stella," Princess Tiana said, giving the dog a big hug. It had been the best night of Stella's life. That was a lovely book. Tiana's surprise guest. That's it for part 1. Join me for part 2 from the Enchanting story pack, where we will see Aurora's dream wedding and Merida's mysterious horse. Thanks for watching Toy Princess. Bye!